Good afternoon. A new football season is off and running, and there's plenty of time for scorelines to change between now and final whistles. Gary Pallister, Les Ferdinand are alongside Garth Crooks, studying the Premier League games underway. Sunderland 1, Tottenham 0 is the result. Match report on the way after the latest news from elsewhere. After 8 years in charge, Sam Allardyce left Bolton to manage Newcastle. Needless to say, the computer fixture has sent him straight back to his former club. Damien Johnson's at the Reebok for final score.
Happy return so far. Bolton 1, Newcastle 3. Newcastle in control, and Allardyce's return to the Reebok. They raced into a 3-0 half-time lead thanks to a free kick from Charles Nzogbia and 2 goals from Obafemi Martins, one which took a wicked deflection of Abdoulaye Faye. Bolton were rank in the first half, much improved in the second though with El Hadj Diouf's introduction. Nicholas Anelka scored a trademark goal after a swift counter-attack to get them back into the game. It's 3-1 Newcastle.
Could be a great result for Gretna. Port Vale 1, Bristol Rovers 0. Erdge are going to get points this afternoon, 6 up. Sheffield United, Colchester equalised at Bramall Lane. Hibs 2, Gretna 2 now is the big game at Easter Road. Sven's pulling power was very evident during the pre-season period. The former England boss made 9 major pre-season signings for Manchester City. They're away at West Ham. Tony Lockwood reporting.
It's West Ham 0, Manchester City 1, and Eriksson has seen his all-new-look Manchester City team tear West Ham apart early on with some delightful football. They took a deserved lead. Alano's cross-cam shot turned in at close range by another new recruit, Rolando Bianchi, one of 9 summer signings. Martin Petrov enjoyed a hat-trick of opportunities. Kerbish has shuffled his pack. On have come Etherington, Mullins in a fit again, Dean Ashton. Zamora almost equalised, but it's still West Ham 0, Manchester City 1.
4th, 7th and 6th place finishes for Everton in the 5 years David Moyes has been in charge of the club. Wigan stayed in the Premiership on goal difference last season. Dan Walker's at Goodison Park.
It's been a bright game so far, Ray, but lacking the real quality other than the mercurial talents of Mikel Arteta every time he touches the ball. It was another member of the Everton midfield, though, who scored the only goal so far, Leon Osman, with a looping header over Chris Kirkland after 26 minutes. Osman's had the best chance of the second half as well, cleared off the line from just a yard out, but Wigan, through Heskey and Jason Kumas, are a growing threat in this game.
At the Riverside, Middlesbrough 12th last season. They're playing Blackburn, who finished 10th. Steve Sutton reporting.
It's Middlesbrough 1, Blackburn 1, but the main talking point, Ray, is an injury to Benny McCarthy, a clash of heads. He collapsed on the pitch. There was a lengthy period of treatment before he was stretchered off. Middlesbrough took the lead through a Stuart Downing free kick in the first half, and then Santa Cruz, on for the injured McCarthy, headed Blackburn equal. It's 1-1.
Derby are back in the top flight of English football after a 5-year absence. They're at home to Portsmouth. Ivan Gaskell reporting.
17 minutes to go, 1-1. Derby ahead and loving it inside 5 minutes. Captain Matt Oakley's consummate finish. They built in confidence from there, but suffered a setback thanks to Benjani's sharp finish inside the half hour. Howard's header grazed a Portsmouth post. Fagan has forced James to full stretching goal. A tight second half. David Nugent substituted on his debut. It's 1-1.
Charlton 1, Scunthorpe 1. Big result so far in the Championship. Scorelines will change, though, between now and final whistles. The video printer will confirm where goals are being scored. But let's hear about the Premier League match already over. Sunderland fans out in force for their return to the top flight of English football. Tottenham, the visitors. Guy Mowbray watched the game at the Stadium of Light.
Sunderland 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. Well, Roy Keane's return to the Premier League in management mode was always going to be dramatic. But even he couldn't quite have forecast just how dramatic. 3 minutes of additional time had ticked by when Michael Chopra, his £5 million signing from Cardiff City, swept home the ball in the Spurs penalty area to seal all 3 points for the Wearsiders. Before then, in truth, the 2 best chances of a nip-and-tuck game had fallen to the Black Cats, with Paul Robinson twice having to be at his best in the first half to deny Daryl Murphy, and then late on to keep out Dixon Atuhu. Spurs looked neat and tidy without ever threatening Sunderland debutant Craig Gordon's goal, and in the end, 1 was enough to win it. Sunderland 1, Spurs 0.
Gary Pallister, your former teammate at Manchester United, Roy Keane, really had the Sunderland players revved up for this match.
Yeah, and the fans got behind him as well. It was a great atmosphere down at the Stadium of Light, and a lot of endeavour from Sunderland. Really took the game to Tottenham. Tottenham had a lot of possession, didn't really create anything. I think that was the biggest disappointment for Martin Jol, but to snatch it with Michael Chopra getting the winner in the last minute was fantastic for them.
Garth was very disappointed with Spurs' performance. Were you, Les?
Yes, because I was expecting big things from Spurs this season, and I think if you go to Sunderland, first game of the season, the signings he's made and the flair players that they've got, you expect a lot more. You expect them to be getting a result at Sunderland, and they didn't do that today.
What was the big problem from what you saw on the pitch, Garth?
Not enough courage. Lots of flair, but not prepared to get behind Sunderland and hurt them. Tanio, Stalteri, Gardner, below par. If Spurs want to finish top 4, they've got to produce better performances than what we saw this afternoon.
This could be a good afternoon for Sven-Goran Eriksson if they win. This could be a great afternoon for Sam Allardyce going back to Bolton. Still time for scorelines to change, but they look like they're going to get exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, you know, Sam going back to it was made for this game. Sam going back to Bolton, and you know, Newcastle are putting performance. They haven't won there for 5 years, and are putting in performance 3-1 up at the moment, and they look like they're going to.
In Scotland, the season kicked off last weekend. Champions for the last 2 seasons, Celtic held to a draw. Their second game in the Clydesdale Bank Premier League was away at Falkirk. Dave Woods reporting.
It's a scoreline that reflects harshly on Falkirk's efforts, though Celtic are grateful that their season is finally up and running. The home side thoroughly deserved their 1-0 lead given to them by Michael Higdon's headed goal in the 4th minute, and they held on to it until the half-hour mark when the unlucky central defender Kenny Milne watched Massimo Donati's driven effort bounce into his own goal off his legs. Celtic improved in the second half but only led after 75 minutes. Aidan McGeady's spectacular effort hit the post before Kenny Miller turned it home. Then the hapless Milne was harshly sent off after a foul on Vennegoor of Hesselink on the edge of the area. Shunsuaki Nakamura had curled home the free kick, and with Falkirk crumbling, Vennegoor of Hesselink added a 4th, Celtic's 3rd in 5 minutes.
33 years since Celtic won a hat-trick of titles. Rangers are desperate for that not to happen, and the video printer confirming they're responding. At home to St Mirren this afternoon, Ian Turner at Ibrox.
9 minutes left. The Rangers fans are singing because new signing Daniel Kuzan, only on the field for 13 minutes, has just made it Rangers 2, St Mirren 0. DeMarcus Beasley played him in. He slotted it home. Barry Ferguson had earlier given Rangers the lead. It's going to be 2 wins out of 2 for Walter Smith's men. They lead 2-0.
Still time for goals to be scored, and a goal's been scored at Goodison, Dan Walker.
And a brilliant second for Everton, Ray. Scored by Anichebe, made by Andy Johnson, though. And the man who's just come on, the summer loan signing from Borussia Dortmund, Stephen Pienaar. Brilliant ball into Johnson. Johnson baffled the Wigan defence, flicked the ball back into Anichebe to make it 2-0 Everton. Maybe game over here.
They all count, or was that somewhat fortunate?
Somewhat fortunate. Brilliant little bit of individual skill by Andy Johnson on the left-hand side in the box. Cuts it back in the 6-yard box, and the player sticks his foot out. It hits him on his calf, flies in the back of the net. Thank you very much indeed.
Lobbed into the back. He was disguising it. He meant it all the time.
And everybody was very, very grateful.
To Edinburgh, winning away at City rivals Hearts was the perfect start to a season for Hibs last week. Promoted Gretna are the visitors this afternoon. Brian McLaughlin has the latest news on this game.
A tougher test today, Ray. It's Hibs 2, Gretna 2, the visitors. 2 up through Yanturno and McMenamin. Benjaloun then missed a penalty for Hibs, but substitute Meroun Zamama pulled one back after 63 minutes before Stephen Fletcher brought the home side level with a header at the back post. 16 minutes left for play here at East. Hibs 2, Gretna 2.
Goal in the Middlesbrough Blackburn game. Steve Sutton reporting.
It's Middlesbrough 1, Blackburn 2, and talk about crucial substitutions, Ray. Matt Derbyshire has just come on for Blackburn. It must have been his first touch of the ball. He got it on the edge of the box, and he sent a beautiful curled shot into the far corner of the net. Mark Schwarzer completely helpless. Middlesbrough 1, Blackburn 2.
10th last season. Their season started 3 weeks ago, in fact, because they're playing in the Intertoto Cup. Impressed with what you're seeing from Blackburn this afternoon?
Very impressed. They went a goal behind, but they've kept at it. Unfortunately, Benny McCarthy went off through that head injury, but Crooks has come on, scored a great first goal, and then Derbyshire's just flick on from Crooks, and he's picked up the rebound on the edge of the box and just curled a beautiful over the top of the goalkeeper. Great
Your
goal.
assessment of the Middlesbrough defending, though, Gary?
They had, but I was going to praise them for the defending earlier on today because they've got problems. Woodgate's out, Huth's out, Pogatet's is out, all regular starters for the team. He's got young Wheater in there making his debut, and Chris Riggott, who hasn't played a lot of football, and they've been doing well. But I think McCarthy going off and Santa Cruz is coming on has caused them a few more problems.
Latest from some of the Championship games. One of the relegated clubs, Charlton, are playing Scunthorpe, playing in the second tier of English football for the first time in 43 years. Dominic Cotton reporting.
Yes, it's Charlton 1, Scunthorpe 1 here, Ray, and the reigning League One champions have equalised rather against the run of play. Debutant Izzy Rekpin heading in unchallenged from a corner. Before that, it had been all Charlton. Marcus Bent, the man to put them in front after a defensive error and an overturned offside decision. We've got 10 or so minutes to play here. Charlton need to get a winner.
New owner, new manager for Leicester of late, who are playing Blackpool. 1978 last time Blackpool played in the second flight of English football. Steve May reporting.
Yes, and it's a controversial goal by Keith Southern, Blackpool's first in the second tier of the league for 29 years, that separates these sides right now. Controversial because Leicester, I think, expected Blackpool to put the ball out of play when James Chambers went over on his ankle. Blackpool carried on, referee Durso said carry on, and Blackpool scored with a man over. Leicester might well have equalised a minute later, but a one-handed point-blank save from Rabchubka from DJ Campbell has kept Blackpool in this.
Cardiff fell away at the end of last season. Stoke had a really strong finish. Mark Webber's at Ninian Park.
Cardiff 0, Stoke 1. As disorganised as a failed librarian, Cardiff have mistimed and squandered a basket of chances and left a big defensive hole, big enough for Ryan Shawcast to welly the ball into the back of the Cardiff net in the first half. It's helped Stoke look like an in-control side who could be, I say could be, the surprise package in the Championship. 1-0 to Stoke.
Sheffield United against Colchester this afternoon. A lot of acrimony surrounding Sheffield United dropping out of the top flight. The Blades intend to go straight back. Adam Parsons of Bramall Lane.
It's Sheffield United 1, Colchester 1. Let's not dwell too much on a really insipid first half, because this match improved markedly after the interval. Sheffield United began to show some invention at last. Keith Gillespie, the catalyst for much of their improvement, helped set up new signing James Beattie to put them ahead, but while the Blades were busy celebrating, Colchester went straight down the other end to equalise thanks to Kevin McLeod. Both teams still chasing victory, but for the moment it's 1-1.
League Two, Shrewsbury lost in the playoff final. 4 up away at Lincoln City. Lincoln have been in the playoffs 5 times on the bounce, failed to win promotion, and Shrewsbury are going to get the points this afternoon. Ayr 2, Queen's Park 2 in Scotland. Great for second-half performance for Shrewsbury. 7th-place finish for Preston last season prevented a third successive appearance in the playoffs. Norwich their opponents this afternoon. Richard Askham.
0-0. We almost had a goal, Ray, a moment ago, though, for Preston. Edge of the box. Kevin Nichols with a brilliant curling shot. The Norwich keeper, David Marshall, was beaten. All ends up, but it struck the bar. That apart, little to report. A Dublin header, the closest Norwich have come to a goal.
Could be a winner this afternoon in the Hull Plymouth game. Let's get the report from James Mason.
Yes, a good game, Ray. Hull 2, Plymouth 3. The goal feast continues with Plymouth taking the lead through a Sylvan Ebanks-Blake strike on 81 minutes. That could prove to be the winner, as you say, because it's been so tight up to now. 8 minutes to go. Hull 2, Plymouth 3.
Goal in the Derby-Portsmouth game in the Barclays Premier League. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, 8 minutes left here, and Derby supporters who've so enjoyed the early stages of Derby's return to the Premier League have, well, they've been silent, because Portsmouth have just taken what looks like a definitive lead in this game, turned home from close range. It was a little bit of slack marking in the heart of that Derby defence. It's cost them dear. It's 2-1 Portsmouth.
A goal at Goodison Park. Dan Walker.
Maybe we do have a game on, Ray. Everton have gone sleepy at the back, have been caught out. Paul Sharner broke away, acres of space, squared the ball to Antoine Sibierski. He's only been on the pitch for 15 minutes. On his debut, he's made it 2-1.
Goals are flying in all over the country. Sheffield United against Colchester. Adam Parsons.
Sheffield United 2, Colchester 1. Been a really good second half this after the poor show in the first one, where James Beattie put the Blades ahead. Back came Colchester with Kevin McLeod, and now Michael Tong has just thumped one home from the edge of the box. 2-1 to Sheffield United.
Back to Derby. Never over till it's over. Ivan Gaskell.
Absolutely not. What a stunning response from Derby. Literally within a minute of falling behind. A fabulous cross, lovely, intelligent piece of wing play from substitute Gary Teal. Looked up, jinked inside the box, poked the ball across the box, and there was Andy Todd absolutely flying in with his head. The ball almost took the net out. Terrific response, 2-2.
Well, there's absolutely a stunning goal. And year on year, the teams that get promoted from the Championship, and people sit round tables, like they do here, and say they'll go straight back down. But these teams love to try and confound you all and prove you wrong. There's a great fight back by Derby.
It's a great fight back by Derby, but I've got to say that Harry Redknapp will not be happy with that defending. I mean, Andy Todd, to be fair to him, steers the ball brilliantly. I've seen those miss when they fly across the face of the goal, but he gets a good contact, flies back in the back of the net. But that said, when you go 2-1 up away from home with minutes left to get spare, you should not be giving points away.
So important, Les, isn't it, on the opening day to get something, a point, even if you get a point, even if you don't get 3, but getting a point.
When you're promoted and you're at home, your first game's at home, you've got the support behind you, and the one thing you do want is you don't want to lose, and you know, a draw here will be a great result for Derby.
What's the style of play Derby have adopted for this game?
They've just been aggressive. They've not shirked the challenges. And I think Andy Todd epitomised that. He's been played in front of the back four. He's been, with the anchor for them. He's tried to stop Portsmouth playing, and then he's managed to get himself up on the end of something and hopefully salvage them a point. It's typical of Andy Todd.
It's a landmark day for 2 football clubs making their debut in the Football League. Conference champions Dagenham and Redbridge, and playoff winners Morecambe. Let's hear about the Daggers. They're away at Stockport, watched by Harry Gratian.
Well, I have to say, the magnificent performance by Tony Robert in the Dagenham and Redbridge goal has just been quashed, really, by a goal by Leon Dickinson, because Stockport County have battered his goal. They've managed to get through in the end. That's the battle goal in 85 minutes. Dickinson has scored 1-0 to Stockport County.
Dreams dashed late in the game, it would appear. Any better news for Morecambe? They've got a home game with Barnet. Mark Bishop reporting.
Still goalless, Ray. Kick-off delayed, remember, by 15 minutes to allow more Morecambe fans into a near-capacity crowd at Christie Park for this special occasion. Sammy Rackaroy's side playing good, attractive football twice. A twist going twice close, and then Burton headed over just for Barnet. Adam Birchall's had a great effort, blocked by Sorrell, and now Morecambe skipper Bentley has cleared off the line from young Thomas. Still goalless at Christie Park.
A dramatic game at Easter Road this afternoon. Brian McLaughlin's watching Hibs against Gretna.
Yeah, terrific entertainment race. Now Hibs 3, Gretna 2. Meruane Zamama, he brought Hibs back into the game after 63. Then equalised, but Zamama this time again, a free kick 25 yards out, over the wall and into the bottom left-hand corner of the net. We still have 7 minutes left here for Easter Road, but it's Hibs 3, Gretna 2.
Plenty of goals at St Mary's, Southampton and Crystal Palace. Both will expect to feature in the promotion race. David Garrido reporting.
A couple of minutes to go, Ray. Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 4. A James Scowcroft hat-trick sealing the points for the visitors. After a header on the half-hour mark, real poacher's instinct for his second, moments later, lobbing over Bart Bielkowski. And the Southampton keeper gifted Scowcroft his third after the break by palming a high bouncing ball into his path for the 31-year-old to head home. Clinton Morrison got in on the out after that as well. Saints need defensive recruits, and sharpish too. It's Southampton 1, Palace 4.
Motherwell had an away win at St Mirren last week, and looks like they've got a winning goal late in the game against Inverness Caledonia Thistle this afternoon. Weymouth 2, Halifax 1. Final score, Airdrie United 6-0 winners at Alloa. Still time for goals to change the destination of points in this afternoon's matches. West Ham are playing Manchester City this afternoon. Let's get an update on this game immediately from Tony Lockwood.
2-0 Ray, 2-0 to Manchester City. And another newcomer, a substitute brought on late on by Sven-Goran Eriksson, Giovanni, with a smashing low right foot angled finish wide of Robert Green. The opener from Bianchi, the second from Giovanni. Eriksson's going to mark his return to English football with an opening day triumph. West Ham 0, Manchester City 2.
Let's go to Prenton Park. Tranmere Rovers playing Leeds United. Leeds in the third tier of English football for the first time in their history with a 15-point deduction. Andrew James, the scoreline, please.
Ray, it's Tranmere 1, Leeds United 2. Early days, but has Leeds United's luck changed? They've been second best for most of this game. Tranmere ahead through Chris Greenacre, but then Matt Heath got an equaliser. And now as we approach stoppage time, long ball in towards the new goalkeeper Danny Coyne. He and Stockdale got in a muddle. Ball home in front of 2,000 Leeds fans. It's Tranmere 1, Leeds 2.
Tranmere Rovers a goal behind late in the game at Prenton Park. Sven, hello, I'm Sven. It's a beautiful day. He looks like he's having a terrific comeback into the Premier League.
So at the top of the programme, you asked how he would do this year. I said if he survives this year, I think he'll go on and do very, very well. They've more than survived this game. I think the composure has been fantastic. Their shape has been very good throughout the game. Mika Richards at centre-half has been absolutely outstanding. And also Kasper Schmeichel, Premiership debut, outstanding also, clean sheet.
Can you see anything in the way Sven has organised his Manchester City side this afternoon, the style he's gone for?
Well, he hasn't had much chance to work with these players. I think, we've seen from the goals that they've scored, it's been through creative individualism. I think the first bit was from Elano, who made the goal for Bianchi. I'm not sure who did it for the second goal, but got the ball to Giovanni. And that's what he's bought. He's bought quality players, and we said, how quickly can they gel together? this afternoon they've done it straight away.
Sven's pulling power is working wonders this afternoon. Portman Road, Robin Bailey.
Well, Ipswich are 4-1 up now. Wednesday have got a consolation through Leon Clark, but they have been outclassed. Fantastic start for Ipswich. Alan Lee has got a couple of goals, a terrific one for Gary Roberts, and the man of the match, Pablo Canago, who got the 4th for Ipswich. They've been terrific. Wednesday have been awful, and a poor debut for Franny Jeffers against the club he turned down. I think he backed the wrong horse there.
Rangers 2, St Mirren 0. Final whistles going all around the country. Motherwell 2, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. Goal at Bramall Lane, Adam Parsons.
Sheffield United 2, Colchester United 2. Colchester have equalised thanks to Clive Platt's header in the 89th minute. He's their record signing, cost £300,000, which is about 13 times less than James Beattie cost Sheffield United. He scored earlier, but at the moment it looks like Colchester are going to be the happier. 2-2.
Celtic 4-1 winners at lunchtime. Rangers have responded this afternoon. Ian Turner's at Ibrox.
Full-time Rangers 2, St Mirren 0. That's 2 wins out of 2 and the perfect start to Rangers' SPL campaign. No goals conceded, 5 scored, 3 by captain Barry Ferguson, who got the first this afternoon when Chris Boyd chested the ball into his path. And then 13 minutes into his debut, substitute Daniel Cousin took a pinpoint pass from DeMarcus Beasley to beat Chris Smith from close range to secure the points. Rangers 2, St Mirren 0.
Goal in the championship match at Oakwell, John Driscoll.
And Coventry will be taking all 3 points home with them. A terrific second half performance, capped off by a stoppage time goal by their Maltese international striker Michael Mifsud, on from the bench to replace the very impressive Kevin Kyle. He got away and beat the goalkeeper one-on-one. Coventry been excellent. Barnsley 1, Coventry 4.
Derby against Portsmouth, closing stages. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, 3 minutes of added time here. We're into the second minute of that. A little breathless, edgy stuff, edge of the seat stuff for most Derby supporters. They've done enough here to earn themselves a point. Now can they finish the job? It's been a tight, intense sort of opening day here, but 2-2 with just a couple of minutes left.
Closing stages 2, final moments at the Riverside. Middlesbrough against Blackburn. Steve Sutton, which way is this going to go?
Well, Middlesbrough have almost had a goal there through Caramola, a second-half substitute. It was cleared off the line by Brad Friedel. Middlesbrough trailing by 2-1. The goals from Santa Cruz and Matt Derbyshire. But the game overshadowed by a bad injury to Benny McCarthy. We still have no word as to what his condition is, but he was stretchered off on the hour, and it was after that the whole game changed. Santa Cruz came on, equalised, and then Matt Derbyshire made it 2-1 with his first touch of the game.
Everton, last team to break into the top 4. They finished 4th in 2005. Consistently high finishes under David Moyes over the last 5 years. Dan Walker's at Goodison Park today.
Yes, Ray, they were in control of this game at 2-0, but they've let Wigan back into it through Antoine Sirierski, and now we're in for a really tense finish here. 3 minutes of added time, and Wigan are really pushing for the equaliser. We've just had a big penalty appeal turned down at both ends, but it's still 2-1 to the home side.
Final scores coming in on the video printer. Northampton 1, promoted Swindon 1. Grimsby 1, Notts County 1. Walsall promoted against Carlisle, just missed out on a third successive promotion, 1-1. Stockport 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. The Daggers losing on their debut in the Football League. 3 points for Stockport. To Upton Park, West Ham against Manchester City. Is Sven going to get a winning start, Tony Lockwood?
He is. We're into time added on, Ray, and we have a corner to Manchester City just a moment ago. Lovely 1-2, and Giovanni, who scored City's second with a shot that Robert Green had to claw away and behind for a corner. City ending on a high. They lead 2-0. We're into time added on.
Stoke have won 1-0 away at Cardiff. Terrific start for them. Cardiff fell away at the end of last season, lost 7 out of 9. They've made quite a few significant signings, but Stoke really finding some good form. Preston 0, Norwich 0 at Deepdale. At the Reebok, Sam Allardyce has taken Newcastle back to his former club, and he's going back to the northeast with the points, it would appear. Damien Johnson.
It would appear that way, Ray. We're in stoppage time here too, as there's a booking for Jeremy down below me. They still lead by 3-1. They've had to weather a bit of a storm in this second half as Bolton have pressed forward without really creating too many clear-cut chances. Nolan had a shot blocked by Taylor, but it looks like Newcastle are going to hang on to this 3-1 lead.
Final whistles going all around the country. Let's go to Pride Park. Derby County, 6 seasons out of the top flight of English football. Back in the big time and a home game with Portsmouth to kick off with. Ivan Gaskell reporting.
And it's 2-2 here. More than 32,000 flocked here to see the curtain raiser to Derby's Premier League return. and a high percentage of them, well, they're going home happy. And they were off their seats too inside 5 minutes. Matt Oakley steering his Derby side in front. Derby looked full of assurance in the early stages, but Benjani brought them back down to earth with an accomplished equaliser. Very tight after that. Howard shaved the Portsmouth post, then Portsmouth edged in front late on. Utaka's close-range finish should have wrapped it up, but Todd's flying header levelled Derby within a breathless minute. Relegation favourites maybe, but Derby aren't listening. 2-2.
A winning start to his Premier League campaign for Sven-Goran Eriksson. Manchester City, the winners at West Ham. Tony Lockwood.
Manchester City fans singing the name of Eriksson, who's returned to English football, marked by an opening day triumph. Rolando Bianchi, one of the most prolific scorers in Serie A last season, with the first half goal set up by Alano, finished by Bianchi. They added a second late on, substitute Giovanni with an accomplished finish. West Ham wasteful in front of goal. They did improve as the drama unfolded, but they didn't quite have enough. Early days, but for Eriksson's Manchester City, the signs are very encouraging. West Ham 0, Manchester City 2.
Still time for goals to be scored, and a goal's been scored at Easter Road. Brian McLaughlin.
Hibs 4, Gretna 2. A terrific turnaround. Goals from Yantorno and McMenamin giving Gretna a 2-0 lead. The comeback beginning on 63 minutes when Zamama knocked home Benjaloun's cross. Then Stephen Fletcher headed home an equaliser at the back post. Benjaloun also missed, but it was his Moroccan teammate Meroun Zamama who put Hibs in front with a magnificent free kick before Kevin McCann wrapped up the scoreline in the final minute. Tough on Gretna, terrific for Hibs. Hibs 4, Gretna 2.
Coca-Cola Championship promoted Bristol City at home to Queen's Park Rangers. Hamish Marshall.
Cracker from Scott Murray, looked as if he'd won it for Bristol City, but for the second time in a match, Queen's Park Rangers equalised almost immediately. Stefan Bailey makes it 2-2 in stoppage time.
And let's go to Goodison Park. Final whistle's gone. Dan Walker.
Everton started well last season and they begin this campaign with a victory after a hard-fought win over Wigan in the end. Leon Osman's scooped header gave them a deserved lead midway through the first half. Mikel Arteta, though, was brilliant throughout, but it was a moment of magic from Andy Johnson that brought the second, turning the defence and putting it on a plate for Victor Anichebe to score, but only just 15 minutes from the end. Everton went to sleep. Antoine Sibierski made a game of it for Wigan on his debut, but David Moyes' side held on.
Final whistle has gone at the Riverside, Middlesbrough against Blackburn, but Steve Sutton, it all seemed to be kicking off at the end of the game.
Yes, it did, Ray. The whistle went, and then there was a real bad bout of handbags. Players squaring up to each other. All 22 players were in the fray. The referee in the middle of it, but it's all been sorted out now, and they're walking off. Blackburn have taken the point. The whole game changed direction with a bad injury to Benny McCarthy. Middlesbrough were leading through a Stuart Downing free kick. McCarthy was stretched off. Roque Santa Cruz came on within minutes. He thundered home a header. Then Mark Hughes brought on Matt Derbyshire. He took on a flick from Santa Cruz, and with his first touch of the game curled an absolute beauty past Swartzer from the edge of the box. Marred by the injury to Benny McCarthy, we still don't know what his condition is, and the edge taken off by the ugly scenes at the end, but they're all off the pitch now, and it's ended Middlesbrough 1, Blackburn 2.
Winning start for Blackburn. Let's go to the Reebok. Sam Allardyce has returned to his former club with Newcastle and is going back to the northeast with the points. Terrific start for the new Magpies boss. Damien Johnson.
Yes, just the return he would have hoped for Ray. His Newcastle side raced into a 3-0 half-time lead with Bolton simply not at the races. Goals from Charles and Zogbia and Obafemi Martins could be put down to bad Bolton defending. Martins second to make it 3-0, a case of bad luck. It was a wicked deflection off 5. Little Sam, new Bolton boss Sammy Lee, must have read the riot act at the break. Bolton improved in the second half, and Elka provided a smart trademark finish after a swift counter-attack. It's all they could manage, though. 3-1 Newcastle.
In League One, Leeds United kick off their first ever season in the third tier of English football with a 15-point deduction and a trip to Tranmere Rovers. Andrew James of Prenton Park.
Ray, Tranmere 1, Leeds United 2. Leeds United spent much of this week claiming football had done them an injustice. Well, today they were the beneficiaries of a miscarriage of justice. A second-half goals from Matt Heath and Tresor Kandol gave them victory over a Tranmere side who played the better football and led for almost an hour from Chris Greenacre's goal. Funny game football, it's minus 12 now for Leeds.
Well, all the results are just about in. Time for Tim Gudgin to confirm the first final scores of the 2007-2008 football season.
Right, Ray, away we go. The Barclays Premier League. Aston Villa and Liverpool kick off in 50 minutes' time. Bolton Wanderers 1, Newcastle United 3. Derby County 2, Portsmouth 2. Everton 2, Wigan Athletic 1. Middlesbrough 1, Blackburn Rovers 2. Sunderland 1, Tottenham Hotspur 0. West Ham United 0, Manchester City 2. The Coca-Cola Football League Championship. Barnsley 1, Coventry City 4. Bristol City 2, Queen's Park Rangers 2. Burnley 2, West Bromwich Albion 1. Cardiff City 0, Stoke City 1. Charlton Athletic 1, Scunthorpe United 1. Hull City 2, Plymouth Argyle 3. Ipswich Town 4, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Leicester City 0, Blackpool 1. Preston North End 0, Norwich City 0. Sheffield United 2, Colchester United 2. Southampton 1, Crystal Palace 4. Wolverhampton Wanderers and Watford kick off in about 15 minutes. Coca-Cola League 1, Cheltenham Town 1, Gillingham 0. Crewe Alexandra 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Doncaster Rovers 0, Millwall 0. Huddersfield Town 1, Yeovil Town 0. Luton Town 2, Hartlepool United 1. Northampton Town 1, Swindon Town 1. Nottingham Forest 0, Bournemouth 0. Oldham Athletic 2, Swansea City 1. Port Vale 1, Bristol Rovers 1. Southend United 1, Leyton Orient 2. Tranmere Rovers 1, Leeds United 2. Walsall 1, Carlisle United 1. League 2, Bradford City 1, Macclesfield Town 1. Brentford 1, Mansfield Town 1. Chester City 0, Chesterfield 0. Darlington 2, Wrexham 0. Grimsby Town 1, Notts County 1. Hereford United 0, Rotherham United 0. Lincoln City 0, Shrewsbury Town 4. Milton Keynes Dons 1, Bury 2. Latest score Morecambe 0, Barnet 0. Peterborough United 3, Rochdale 0. Stockport County 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. Wycombe Wanderers 0, Accrington Stanley 1. The Blue Square Premier, Altrincham 1, Exeter City 4. Crawley Town 2, Stevenage Borough 1. Droylsden 0, Salisbury 0. Ebbsfleet United 2, Northwich Victoria 1. Farsley Celtic 1, Stafford Rangers 0. Histon 2, Burton Albion 2. Kidderminster Harriers 1, Aldershot Town 2. Oxford United 1, Forest Green Rovers 0. Weymouth 2, Halifax Town 1. Woking 1, Ruston and Diamonds 1. York City 1, Cambridge United 2. The Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Falkirk 1, Celtic 4. Hibernian 4, Gretna 2. Motherwell 2, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. Rangers 2, St Mirren 0. The Ernbrew Scottish Football League Division 1, Clyde 0, Hamilton Academicals 2. Dundee 2, Queen of the South 1. Dunfermline Athletic 0, Morton 1. Partick Thistle 3, Livingston 0. St Johnstone 2, Stirling Albion 2. The Scottish League Division 2, Alloa Athletic 0, Airdrie United 6. Ayr United 2, Queen's Park 3. Brechin City 2, Peterhead 2. Cowdenbeath 2, Ross County 2. Wraith Rovers 3, Berwick Rangers 1. And Scottish Division 3, Albion Rovers 3, Stranraer 2. Arbroath 2, East Fife 3. East Stirling 3, Dumbarton 2. Elgin City 0, Montrose 2. Forfar Athletic 0, Stenhousemuir 1.
One late kick-off in Coca-Cola League 2. It's Morecambe making their debut in the Football League, having been promoted from what was called the Conference last season. 0-0 at home to Barnet. That match kicked off 15 minutes late because so many Morecambe fans wanted to crowd into the ground at Christie Park, and well done them. 0-0 at Christie Park, Morecambe Barnet, still a late kick-off. So a new season is off and running, and there's the headlines from the opening Barclays League Premier matches. Sven-Goran Eriksson's Manchester City win at West Ham. Debutants Bianchi and Giovanni both on target. Sam Allardyce's return to Bolton's a happy one. The Magpies get off to a flyer at the Reebok. 2 goals for Obafemi Martins in a 3-1 win. Michael Chopra puts the squeeze on Spurs with an injury time winner. A winning start for Roy Keane as a Premier League manager. Matt Derbyshire grabs the winner as Blackburn fight back from a goal down against Boro. Stuart Downing's free kick had put Boro in front. Blue skies at Gudgin. Goals from Leon Osborne and Victor Anichebe sent Everton fans home heavy as they edge past Wigan at Goodison Park. Just to say, you can see all the goals and all the action in Match of the Day. 10:15 start here on BBC One. Another game will have been played by then, the Aston Villa-Liverpool match. Right, let's get post-match reaction to what happened at lunchtime at the Stadium of Light. Great win for Sunderland, beating Spurs by 1-0.
Roy, was that the way you dreamt it? Perfect finish.
That was a great start to the season for us. I thought the players done fantastically well, and there wasn't too many clear-cut chances. But again, the players showed a great desire to go and win a game of football, scoring so late in the match. So I think we deserve to win the game today.
That's a dream debut, to be fair. I knew coming from Newcastle I had to get off to a good start to try and win a lot of hearts of the Sunderland fans, because I knew they would have had doubts about me. And to actually score in the last minute and to actually score the winner, it's just what dreams are made of. Couldn't have wished for a better start, but we know it's just the first game of the season and there's a long way to go.
Martin, a dramatic finish to day one, but not drama the way you wanted it.
No, even a 0-0 was disappointing, because I thought it was a boring game. And in the end, you could say, then you have to protect the 0-0, and we couldn't even do that, They had a lot of urgency, but they've got some players who can score a goal as well, like Chopra did, and I felt first half we looked comfortable, but we didn't create. There was not a lot of creativity in the side today, and you can have all the players and all the quality up front, but it's not only about the front players.
You saw this place grow and grow last season. It doesn't half rock when it's full, doesn't it?
No, it's fantastic. The atmosphere today was absolutely brilliant, and the players, I certainly enjoyed it, and hopefully the players did, because Sunderland fans will have a massive role to play this season, because no doubt there will be plenty of downs along the way, but once we keep showing that spirit and desire, we'll have a chance.
Plenty more opinions on today's results can be heard at 7:15 on Radio 5 Live. Plenty of varied opinion too, no doubt. Football fans can phone, text or email 606. Well played Roy Keane, well played Sunderland, Gary.
Yeah, great endeavour. Mirrored Keane's spirit, fought all day long, got a great crowd behind them, and battled right to the very end. Michael Chopra, as you saw in the interview, delighted that he scored the goal. There was a lot of, I think he's taken a bit of stick and a bit of banter about coming from Newcastle, but he's done terrific. He come on from the bench and scored the winner. Terrific.
It's a great start for Roy Keane. It's a great start for Sven-Goran Eriksson. The Manchester City manager is now talking to Jonathan Pearce.
Sven, how delighted are you?
Very delighted, of course. First match in Premier League. 3 points away. It's very good, and I think we played really good football. Not 90 minutes. We didn't. We suffered as well, but we started very well, and I think the last 15-20 we did very well again.
There's been some sort of criticism for the way that you've signed your players on the evidence of videos, but they've paid you back. 2 new boys, 2 goals.
But only one who wants to be stupid can come out with a thing like that. So I couldn't care less about that. I mean, of course I knew all the players before I signed them. If someone wants to be stupid, he is.
Bianchi exceptional in the first half, and Elano just behind him.
Yeah, very good. We tried it against Valencia, and it worked very well, even if we didn't score in that game. But yeah, it's good in some games, and in some other games, maybe playing with Elano, more midfielder, and 2 strikers. We'll see. It was a good win today, and I'm very, very happy.
Communication problems out there for the players? Because I don't think many of them speak English, do they?
They do. Even a couple speaks very little, but we're trying to give them football knowledge in English, and they're going to start studying English. So that will not be a problem. Of course, it's important that they learn the language, and they will do that.
How important is it, though, for people not to get carried away because you've had to rush through pre-season?
Now, of course, it's one game. It's 37 games to play in the Premier League, so of course it's a good start, and we are all happy about that. But I mean, Wednesday it's a new game, and that's a new story.
After all the stick you've taken, though, over the past 12 months, is this a way to answer the critics?
No, I don't think so. I will probably get sticks again, as you say. But no, it's a good win, and I think we showed that we are a good team, and that's good.
Very well done.
Well, Sven was a very successful club manager before he moved into international football. And I think he was winding everybody up. I think he knew all these players ready, and he said he knew he was going to get a club job available, and he just pressed the button and they all arrived.
And you don't throw a performance like that together we saw today. We saw a team, a professional unit. Their shape was fantastic. They controlled large parts of the game. Mika Richards was absolutely outstanding, as was Kasper Schmeichel. This is not the same Man City we saw last season. This is a new Man City, and if I was a Man City fan, I'd be very, very hopeful.
It's very hard to get everyone together and get them to play as you would want them to immediately. How long do you think it takes? And in a way, maybe the emotion of the day got City the 3 points.
Yeah, you know, you get class players together, and it's not just about that. It's the characters in the team as well. And apparently that's what he does. He makes sure the characters are right for his teams. And today he'll be pleased with not just the result, but the manner in which they went about getting that result, because they played some fantastic football.
Well, Sven-Goran Eriksson, Roy Keane, Sam Allardyce has had a great day as well, going back to Bolton. It just shows that sort of managers earn their corn by making decisions, and as Sven says, they take the sticks when it doesn't go well.
Yeah, I mean, he's there to be shot at, isn't he? After everything that went on with England, in his private life and everything, everybody's waiting for Sven-Goran Eriksson to fail. But as Garth said, he's been great in club management. You wouldn't bet against him being successful again with Man City.
I think he's a great addition for club football, as with Mourinho. It's a great character for us all to reflect on.
It's fantastic, and this debate about foreign players, we could have the same debate about foreign coaches, but when he was manager of England, remember, he had a selection problem. Those players he could only pick from England. Here, he can pick from the world.
What was your opinion of Newcastle's performance today, Les?
Yeah, really pleased. They started really well. They went out and they really got about Bolton, never gave Bolton a chance to get going, scored their goals. And I think Sam will realise that because he's not really had most of his players throughout the pre-season, there have been lots of injuries, they're probably lacking in fitness a little bit, and that showed in the second half. But he'll be pleased to have gone back to the Reebok or anywhere on the opening day of the season away from home and getting 3 goals and winning is great for any manager.
Let's just reflect on the other results. Well done, Blackburn, winning away at Middlesbrough.
Yeah, Middlesbrough started well in the game. They've got injury problems themselves. The back four is decimated by injuries. They had Chris Riggett in there, who hasn't played much football, and young Wheaton making it might have been his debut. I think they've lost the 3 regular first-team centre-halves. And after they lost Benny McCarthy to a head injury, Santa Cruz came on and posed different problems for the Boro defence, and they really didn't handle it that well and let Blackburn back into the game. And even though they were 1-0 up Middlesbrough, they eventually conceded 2 and lost. And it's a worrying time for the Middlesbrough fans. Are a little bit anxious because Garth hasn't been able to bring in a lot of the targets he's been looking for in the transfer market.
Garth, at this stage, at the start of every season, the teams that are promoted, you usually sit here and say they're going straight back down. Wigan have proved people wrong. Reading proved people wrong. Are Derby going to prove people wrong?
Well, today they had a real go. You just wonder whether or not enthusiasm alone will see you through a season. I think it won't, and I think you need some quality along the way. But I'll be interested to see what the boys say tonight on Match of the Day, because in the game between Blackburn and Middlesbrough, there was it got spiteful. Savage and Boateng, and that went on right as a theme that went right through the entire game, right to the very end. But it was interesting that Blackburn won the day.
Les, at this stage, opening Saturday, whatever division, whatever team you're playing for, whatever league, you just want to get points on the board and get settled.
You just want, you know, like you said, those first points, a win is perfect, but you just want to get a point on the board because you start on a loss and you know you're playing catch up then. And although it's the first game of the season, that first win gives everyone confidence.
Garth, yeah, just need a couple of points. Ease the nerves.
Spurs will be bitterly disappointed that they go to the Stadium of Light and they do not get a point out of that game, and they're considered to be 4th this time by the critics.
I think it's fair to say you are disappointed with their performance. Nearly time to say goodbye to BBC One viewers, but with a quick reminder first. Full details on all today's football can be found on the BBC Sport website. All the results, goal scorers, match reports, plus features on the season ahead. And with managers and players emerging from their dressing rooms with contrasting opinions in the light of today's results, final score will continue now via the red button Press the red button for the links. More news on today's football on the way. Match of the day, 10:15, 4:30 next Saturday for final score. Bye for now.